In the United States, few companies carry more weight than Boeing. For decades, it has been one of the most important aerospace manufacturers in the world. Its aircraft move millions of people every day. Its contracts extend into national defense. Its name is tied to engineering, safety, and reliability. For passengers, stepping onto a Boeing aircraft is supposed to feel routine, familiar, safe. But in recent years, that sense of certainty has been challenged, not only by accidents or by headlines, but by something more difficult to measure: internal warnings. According to federal investigations, congressional hearings, and sworn testimony, concerns about safety inside Boeing were raised long before the public fully understood the risks. And in some cases, those concerns came from the people closest to the planes themselves. In 2018 and 2019, two Boeing 737 MAX aircraft crashed within months of each other. Lion Air, Flight 610, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302. Together, the crashes killed 346 people. In the aftermath, attention focused on a software system known as MCAS, a flight control feature designed to automatically adjust the aircraft's angle in certain conditions. Investigators later found that MCAS could activate based on a single sensor reading, and that pilots were not fully informed about its behavior. But as the investigations expanded, a broader picture began to emerge. It wasn't just about a single system. It was about what people inside the company knew and when. Internal messages released during congressional investigations showed Boeing employees raising serious concerns. In one exchange, an employee wrote that the aircraft was designed by clowns. Another message described concerns about pressure to meet deadlines. There were warnings about training requirements, questions about whether pilots had been given enough information, concerns about how quickly changes were being pushed through. These were not outside critics. They were Boeing employees, engineers, testers, people working inside the system. At the same time, federal regulators were facing their own scrutiny. The Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, had delegated certain certification responsibilities to Boeing itself, a practice that had been in place for years. After the crashes, investigators and lawmakers questioned whether that system had gone too far, whether too much responsibility had been placed in the hands of the company being regulated, and whether warnings were being fully examined. Boeing has said that it has made significant changes since the crashes. The company has stated that safety is its top priority and that it has taken steps to improve transparency, training, and internal reporting. Executives have acknowledged mistakes. They have pointed to new processes, new oversight, and a renewed focus on engineering culture. But the questions raised by the investigations have not fully disappeared. In the years that followed, additional reports and whistleblower accounts continued to surface. Some employees described concerns about production pressure. Others raised issues about manufacturing standards. In 2024, a Boeing whistleblower testified before Congress, alleging that parts of the production process were being rushed and that defects were not always handled in the way they should have been. Boeing has disputed certain claims and has said it stands behind the safety of its aircraft. As with any major corporation, the full picture is complex. There are internal disagreements, conflicting accounts, competing pressures between cost, speed, and safety. But across multiple investigations, one theme appears again and again. Warnings were raised. The question is, what happens next when those warnings exist? Inside large institutions, decisions are rarely simple. There are deadlines, financial pressures, reputational risks, regulatory relationships. Every decision sits inside a system of competing priorities. But when the stakes involve human lives, those priorities take on a different weight. For passengers, these questions are distant. Most people will never see a factory floor. They will never read an internal message. They will never sit in a congressional hearing. They board the plane, fasten their seatbelt, and trust that everything in front of them has been built, tested, and approved to the highest standard. That trust is what makes systems like this possible, and it is also what makes failures or alleged failures so difficult to confront. Because when concerns are raised inside institutions built on trust, the question is not just what went wrong, it is what happened after someone spoke up, who listened, what changed, and what didn't. Boeing remains one of the most important aerospace companies in the world. Its aircraft continue to fly. Its role in global transportation remains central. Investigations continue. Oversight continues. And the story is still being written. But the underlying question is not unique to Boeing. It applies to any institution where responsibility is shared, where pressure is constant, and where decisions carry real-world consequences. What happens when the people inside the system raise concerns? And what happens if those concerns are not fully addressed? All allegations and statements described are based on publicly available investigations, congressional testimony, internal documents, and reporting. Boeing has stated that it has taken steps to improve safety and continues to stand behind its aircraft.